as the title of this session says, we're going to talk about the product roadmap. Actually, Aaron's going to present it, but before we get to that, we're going to literally set the stage and talk first a little bit about some of the macro factors that led into the decisions in what is on the product roadmap. So to start, Aaron Sears, just introduce Aaron Slettehaugh, who's our SVP of Product, joined earlier this year. And so to introduce you to the audience, I thought we'd start there. Tell us a little bit about your background.
That's great. Sounds great. Thank you, Monica. It's a pleasure to be here at Swell with you and with so many of our great customers and partners. Throughout my career, I've always focused on enterprise and business-to-business type companies, and I've done that across the spectrum from micro enterprise in Africa to what you might refer to as macro enterprise with companies like Salesforce. And the reason for that is I really believe that business-to-business type companies and enterprise type companies are really the driver of the economic growth that we've seen over the last several decades, and really what's behind a lot of the growth and prosperity we've seen across the world. There've been some great advances in consumer technology, of course, but behind all of that is a massive infrastructure of business-to-business companies and enterprise companies. And underpinning all that, of course, is a very sophisticated financial system. So when I had the opportunity to move into fintech several years ago at Square, I was very excited to take that and really enjoyed leading the product team for the payment platform there, where we were processing more than $1 billion a day in transactions, and where I got to see firsthand really the impact of financial services on people's welfare and on their ability to grow their own prosperity.
Well, that might be the lead-in to what my next question is. And so when did you get kind of bitten by the crypto bug, or can you remember when you first heard about it and what your insights were?
Yeah, I mean, so initially, I heard about crypto the way most other people have, through the popular press, which doesn't always leave a good impression. But working in fintech, I decided I really needed to learn more about it. And as I scratched below the surface of what crypto can do and what blockchain can do, I was just really struck by the potential that it has to transform the industry. So, I mean, no surprises to anybody here. That's why we're all here. But the ability for crypto to make financial services faster, cheaper, more efficient, always available, more accessible, and more equitable. I was just, really intrigued by that and very excited about the potential for crypto to transform financial services.
Yeah, and I think that, that is 100% kind of what Ripple's mission is, so I could see how that led you here.
Yeah, so you naturally know this much better than I. You've been at Ripple for more than 11 years now. You've been in the crypto industry for most of the history of the industry. In what you're seeing now, what excites you about where the industry is now and what you think is coming?
So when I was listening to you speak about the potential that you saw using blockchain as a new, more modern financial rail, that is what it's all about to me, and I think the mission of Ripple. What is exciting to me is it feels like the time is now. So all those benefits are there as part of blockchain right away, right out of the box, so to speak. The challenge has been global regulation and clarity of, well, how can licensed service providers and institutions use this technology in a way that's safe and compliant and legal and all those things. That has taken a much longer time, and I do think now we're seeing a lot more clarity out there. Countries from Singapore and Hong Kong to Europe, Brazil, kind of all over the map, we're seeing clarity come. And in the US, we're hopeful that that clarity will come. Obviously, Congress, but lawmakers are making some efforts on both sides of the aisle toward that. So that to me is what I'm most excited about, is that it does feel like the pieces of the puzzle are coming into the frame.
Yeah, that is very exciting to see, and it's really exciting the role that Ripple is playing in that. Historically, Ripple's really been known for payments, but over the last couple of years, the company's expanded its product portfolio into other areas. Can you talk more about that evolution and what's behind that?
Yeah, we really see Ripple as providing full end-to-end digital asset infrastructure to financial institutions or enterprises who want to execute financial use cases on blockchain. And through our work in payments, we, over the years built a very robust, I think best-in-class operation for digital asset liquidity and payouts. So we have payout capabilities into 90 countries around the world, covering, most, 90+% of FX markets. So that is, long, hard work. We were just talking about regulation. I mentioned, licensed providers. So we've also gone through the effort of getting licensed in various markets around the world for virtual asset services as well as money transmission. So those capabilities together can serve payments as one use case, but it can also be useful for other tokenization use cases that our customers are interested in. The missing piece of the puzzle was storage or custody. So last year we acquired Medico, which is really best in class amongst banks for digital asset custody and also supporting on tokenization. So that's kind of how the different pieces of our product suite came together and where we see our opportunity. It's really to be the trusted, one-stop shop, reliable provider to all of you, financial institutions and service providers.
Exciting.
Yeah. So Aaron, you're now our SVP of product. You're leading the charge on the next stage of our product suite. And so what can you tell us about where things are going in 2025?
So in general, in the bigger picture, I think the role that Ripple is playing in the industry is to really help bridge traditional finance and decentralized finance. So the traditional financial rails and the whole system has been built up over several decades and really over a couple of centuries, and has had a ton of time to establish itself, perfect itself, and weave itself into the fabric of society. Blockchain, in contrast, naturally is pretty new. It's evolving very quickly, but it has a long ways to go to have the kind of reach that traditional financial system does. So we're not going to see traditional financial companies lift and shift their entire business model and move it over to the blockchain in the next few years, potentially even in the next few decades. And what we really need to do is provide a bridge between the two worlds. The reason this is important is the two financial systems do need each other. Traditional financial systems need to take advantage of the capabilities and the benefits that blockchain can bring if they want to stay competitive. And blockchain companies, crypto companies, need traditional financial institutions because that's where the vast majority of the assets are. That's where the vast majority of the liquidity is. These companies have established themselves deeply into society and have very strong networks and infrastructure. And that, of course, is where the vast majority of the customers are as well. So Ripple, with its history, having been born as a crypto company, but also spent most of its life working very closely with some of the top financial institutions, traditional financial institutions in the world, is very equipped to play this role. The initial payments product that Ripple released, which is still going strong, is a pure fiat-to-fiat payment system with no crypto involved. So Ripple knows the crypto world very well. It knows the traditional financial world very well. And now with a more complete portfolio to be able to tokenize, store, exchange, and move crypto assets, I think Ripple's is very well equipped to address this. And I'm really excited about what we have on our roadmap in the next few months and coming in 2025.
Well, let's get to it then. I'll leave Aaron here to share with you what's in store on the product roadmap for 2025. Thank you.
That sounds great. Thank you.
For over a decade, Ripple has worked to bridge the gap between blockchain and traditional finance. We've built enterprise-grade digital asset infrastructure, trusted by the world's largest banks. From instant global payouts and access to off-ramps, to secure digital asset custody solutions, to the stablecoin created with trust and compliance at its core. Ripple enables enterprises around the world to tokenize, store, exchange, and move value. We're not waiting for the future of finance to arrive. We're building the Internet of Value today.
All right, once again, thank you, Monica, and thank all of you for being here. As we talked about, Ripple has spent most of its history with its feet in both worlds of traditional finance and decentralized finance. And what we've learned from that is our customers really want a one-stop shop for all their digital asset needs so they can have solutions that are fully integrated. This is not really a surprise. There is precedent for this. If you look at some of the traditional internet companies, no matter what business these companies are in, they all need the common components of compute, storage, and networking. And they could buy these from different vendors and stitch it together. And historically, that's what they did decades ago. But that creates a huge amount of overhead in integrating these services. It means that they don't perform as well as they could if they're all tightly coupled, and it leads to more disjointed customer experiences. So with that in mind, Ripple is building out this suite that will meet all the needs of our customers to be able to tokenize, store, and exchange and move their digital assets. So with that in mind, I'd like to dive into the product suite and talk about what we have in store in the coming months and into 2025. So I'm going to start with the XRP ledger because the first step in the digital asset lifecycle is to tokenize an asset. You can't do anything on the blockchain unless you get the assets onto the blockchain. And the XRP ledger is really the best tool to do this. XRP ledger was purpose-built for financial applications, and it has all the key components that are necessary to build a decentralized financial application built into it. Because of this, you don't have to write smart contracts to build the applications that you need, and that's important for several reasons. Writing a smart contract requires a lot of code, and being able to minimize the code that you write makes the development more accessible and easier for more developers. It also means that less code also makes it more efficient. And you can see that manifested in the low transaction fees that are on the XRP ledger. But by far most importantly, having less code means that there's less opportunity to introduce bugs into your applications. And we have seen, while smart contracts can be very powerful and they give you the flexibility to do tremendous things, they can also be dangerous. The more code you write, the more opportunity you have for bugs. And we've unfortunately seen some real-world consequences of this happen. So the XRP ledger is a great place to build your applications because it does have a lot of the capabilities that you need built in without needing to write smart contracts. So Ripple naturally doesn't own the XRP ledger. It's open source, it's decentralized, it's community owned. But because our entire product suite is built on the XRP ledger, we make significant contributions into this and into the community. Over the last year, you may have seen some of these contributions in the form of proposed amendments for automated market maker, for decentralized identity, and for pricing oracles, some of which have already been incorporated and are live on mainnet. And what you can expect to see from us in the next few months and into 2025 are first an EVM sidechain that we are releasing in partnership with our partner Swell. And this will allow developers on the XRP ledger to connect to more than 50 other blockchains and take advantage of the capabilities on those blockchains and tap into the liquidity on those chains. You'll also see us put out a proposed amendment for multi-purpose tokens. These are sometimes referred to as semi-fungible tokens. And the reason you'd want to do this is that you can build more sophisticated or more complicated tokens on the ledger. So if you want to tokenize something like a bond and you want to include the maturity date or the coupon rate as data along with that token attached to that token, semi-fungible tokens or multi-purpose tokens will allow you to do that very easily. Finally, we'll be proposing amendments for additional permissioning on the DEX. The DEX already has many ways to ensure that you have security and that you're dealing with known entities. But additional permissioning capabilities will provide more flexibility so that banks on a decentralized ledger and on an anonymous ledger, they can still always know exactly who they're interacting with and make sure that they're always in compliance with their own rules and with the regulators. So moving on to custody, after you've tokenized an asset, you need to store it somewhere. In the old world, this is done in massive bank vaults. I think we're all familiar with these from the bank heist movies we watched growing up. Massive vaults with big, thick steel walls and big doors. And this is exactly what we need in the digital world, is very secure storage for all of our digital assets. So with this in mind, last year, Ripple acquired Medico. And the reason that Medico was attractive to us is that, like Ripple, everything they have done has built to be security first and compliance first, and it's all built with the needs of some of the top-tier financial institutions in mind. Because of this, we are fortunate enough to count some of these very large banks as our customers. We have banks like BBVA, by DBS, and HSBC that we are fortunate to have as customers, and many more. And in 2025, to continue to expand the capabilities of our custody solution, we'll be focused on adding more security options and more native integrations into the product. So first, we'll be expanding the optionality that customers have for hardware security modules so that they can bring their desired hardware security module to integrate that into the custody solution. We'll have compliance integrations with third-party services for things like transaction screening and travel rule compliance to ensure that it's very easy in a single place to not only manage your assets, but to manage the compliance aspect of those assets. Our custody solution currently supports close to 20 different blockchains, but we're seeing interest from our customers in supporting more, so we will be adding more blockchains to the product in 2025. And finally, we'll be adding an integration with staking platforms so that customers who have assets sitting in the custody product will be able to earn yield on those rather than having them just sit there idly. In addition to the bank-grade security and the very high-level security and compliance that we built that is serving these very large banks, we're seeing interest in our product from other sectors outside of this, and they're looking for something that's a little bit more accessible than what we've built for some of the very largest banks. And what accessible means in this context is lower cost and easier to use and to operate. So in 2025, we'll be adding yet more options around key management and security to give more options and some of them lower cost for our customers. And we'll also be providing pre-configured templates for security and compliance so that a customer can decide what the kind of policies they want, apply a template out of the box, and be up and running without having to configure every aspect of their security rules. So let's talk about the Ripple stablecoin, the Ripple USD. After you've tokenized an asset and after you put it in storage, you're going to want to do something with it. And in order to do that, you generally are going to need liquidity. So to address this need, Ripple is launching the Ripple USD. You've heard a lot about it over the last couple of days. And like everything that Ripple does, this is a security-first, compliance-first product. And to ensure that we are meeting some of the most stringent regulatory requirements, we've issued this through a trust, and it is being regulated by the New York Department of Financial Services, which we had the pleasure of hearing from yesterday. We'll also be providing transparency into the reserves that back this token to give the market confidence that there is minimal risk of depegging. Naturally, we will find use for the Ripple stablecoin, the Ripple USD, in our own products and our customers as well. In custody, it's an ideal asset for settling trades of real-world assets. In our payments product, we'll be using the Ripple USD alongside of XRP to provide more liquidity options in the payment flow. And the stablecoins have already proven their value in the market as tools for on and off ramps. So this is a great way to get fiat onto the chain and leave it in an asset that is tied to the fiat currency until you're ready to deploy it for other uses. And similarly, a great way when assets are liquidated to be able to easily move the funds around the world. So in the coming weeks and the coming months and into next year, what you can expect to see are initially the general availability launch of the Ripple stablecoin on Ethereum and on the XRP ledger. And next year, we'll be adding support for more blockchains beyond Ethereum and the XRP ledger as well. And we'll also then continue to build out the ecosystem of partners and exchanges that support the Ripple USD to ensure that we have a very rich and robust ecosystem around it. So let's finish our view of the roadmap by ending up where Ripple started, which is in payments. So Ripple started to reinvent cross-border payments to make sure that they are transparent, that they're available 24/7, 365 days a year, that they have near instant settlement, and that they have competitive pricing. Now, last year at Swell, Ripple launched Ripple Payments Direct, and with this product, we're taking much more of the payment flow inside of our own walls to let the customers be more hands-off and give them a much more seamless experience. With Ripple Payments Direct, customers don't have to interact with a payment at all. This is available in the markets where we have money transmitter licenses, which includes most states in the US. We launched earlier this year in Brazil, and we're in the process of launching in Dubai, where we recently received in-principle approval from the Dubai Financial Services Authority, which we're very excited about. In 2025, we'll continue to deepen our investment in Ripple Payments Direct to ensure that it has all the features and capabilities of our more traditional payments products and to make sure that it supports all the different corridors that our customers want to move money between. Now, as I mentioned, connecting traditional finance and DeFi is really, I think, the biggest challenge of the industry. So in order to address that, next year, Ripple would be investing a lot more in our on and off ramp capability. Traditionally, Ripple payments were fiat to fiat and used crypto as a bridge asset underneath. But as more of the world embraces crypto and embraces blockchains, we're finding customers more and more wanting to bring crypto in as the input to the payment and pay out fiat on the other side somewhere else in the world, or in contrast, bring fiat in and pay crypto out to some other place somewhere in the world. So we're in the process of building a asset agnostic payment system where you can put any form of fiat in, any form of crypto in, anywhere in the world, and the receiver can be anywhere in the world and receive any type of crypto or any type of fiat that they would want. So wrapping this all up, I'm going to talk about a story inspired by one of our customers. We have a large bank who is currently tokenizing bonds and mutual funds and storing them in Ripple custody. Once these assets are tokenized, it's really easy to move them around the world. And this bundle of assets can then be used as short-term collateral for trading in multiple markets within a single 24-hour period as they move seamlessly to the trading hours in different countries. So when the assets at some point need to be liquidated, they'll be able to easily liquidate these assets into the Ripple stablecoin and then use the payment rails that Ripple provides to do payouts into any of the more than 90 countries that we currently support and be able to do that by paying out the Ripple stablecoin itself or paying out in fiat. So in 2025, we are going to continue to invest in strengthening the integration across our products, strengthening the integration with the ecosystem, and providing more and more flexibility and capabilities across all these products as we discussed. So I'm very excited about what's in store for our customers in 2025. I'm excited about what's in store for our partners, and I'm excited about what's in store for Ripple as we all work together to transform the Internet of Value from a vision into a reality. Thank you.